Hi. Welcome to the History House. I'm Ahmed Saeed and you are watching the significance of the 10th of October on your favorite The History House YouTube channel. Please like this video and subscribe the channel for the importance of the day, success stories as well as the failure stories around the world on daily basis. October 10th is the 283rd day of the year, 284th in leap years in the Gregorian calendar. 82 days remain until the end of the year. Find out what happened on the 10th of October this day in history. 10th of October 680 The Battle of Karbala is won by the Umayyads under Yazid I. The Battle of Karbala was fought on the 10th of October 680, 10 Muharram in the year 61R of the Islamic calendar, between the army of the second Umayyad Caliph Yazid I and a small army led by Hussein ibn Ali, the grandson of the Islamic prophet Muhammad, at Karbala, Iraq. Yazid ibn Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan, commonly known as Yazid I, was the second caliph of the Umayyad Caliphate. He ruled for 3 years from 680 until his death in 683. His appointment was the first hereditary succession in Islamic history. His caliphate was marked by the death of Hazrat Muhammad's grandson Hussein ibn Ali as well as the start of the crisis known as the Second Fitna. The 10th of October 1913, the Panama Canal officially joined the Atlantic Ocean to the Pacific Ocean when the Gamboa Dike was demolished with charges of dynamite. The Panama Canal, Spanish, Canal de Panamá, is an artificial 82 kilometers (51 miles) waterway in Panama that connects the Atlantic Ocean with the Pacific Ocean. The canal cuts across the Isthmus of Panama and is a conduit for maritime trade. Canal locks are at each end to lift ships up to Gatun Lake, an artificial lake created to reduce the amount of excavation work required for the canal, 26 meters (85 feet) above sea level, and then lower the ships at the other end. The original locks are 32.5 meters (110 feet) wide. A third, wider lane of locks was constructed between September 2007 and May 2016. The expanded canal began commercial operation on June 26, 2016. The new locks allow transit of larger, Neo-Panamax ships, capable of handling more cargo. The 10th of October 1922, America has long been the world's largest supplier of oil, but many believe the oil reserves will be depleted in America in 25 years while oil reserves in Mexico may well be bigger and last longer, with current estimates at 40 years of reserves, and it is believed they have the largest oil reserves in the world. American oil companies continue to work with the Mexican government to develop these new oil fields, but they are facing stiff competition from British and French oil companies. The 10th of October 1939 World War II French lines. After 5 weeks of war, German attacks on French lines are increasing daily, but the French are continuing to hold using hand grenades against the Germans. Many believe the current attacks are a prelude to a full-scale German invasion force. The 10th of October 1957 World's first nuclear accident. Windscale, part of the radioactive core at Pile 1 at Windscale nuclear plant in West Cumbria used to make weapons-grade plutonium, was on fire, and as there had never been a similar experience, it was a best guess as to how to distinguish the fire, but a combination of water pumped into the reactor and turning off the air supply to the reactor worked. The combination of a lack of oxygen and gallons of water did the trick, and the fire was eventually put out. The fire caused the release of substantial amounts of radioactive contamination into the surrounding area, and the event, known as the Windscale fire, was the world's worst reactor accident until the 3 Mile Island accident in 1979. The 10th of October 1964 Japan Olympics. The Summer Olympics open in Japan when Emperor Hirohito of Japan opened the 18th Olympic Games in Tokyo. The 10th of October 1967, Treaty on Principles Governing the Activities of States in the Exploration and Use of Outer Space, including the Moon and other celestial bodies, is signed by the United States and the Soviet Union. Below is a rough guide to what the treaty means. Military use: an undertaking not to place in orbit around the Earth, install on the Moon or any other celestial body, or otherwise station in outer space, nuclear or any other weapons of mass destruction. It limits the use of the Moon and other celestial bodies exclusively to peaceful purposes and expressly prohibits their use for military use. Ownership inspired by the great prospects opening up before mankind as a result of man's entry into outer space, recognizing the common interest of all mankind in the progress of the exploration and use of outer space for peaceful purposes, believing that the exploration and use of outer space should be carried on for the benefit of all peoples irrespective of the degree of their economic or scientific development. 10th of October 1970 Fiji becomes independent. Fiji, officially the Republic of Fiji, is an island country in Melanesia, part of Oceania in the South Pacific Ocean, about 1,100 nautical miles (2,000 kilometers, 1,300 miles) northeast of New Zealand. Fiji consists of an archipelago of more than 330 islands, of which about 110 are permanently inhabited, and more than 500 islets, amounting to a total land area of about 18,300 square kilometers, 7,100 square miles. The most outlying island is Ono I Lau. 87% of the total population of 883,483 live on the two major islands, Viti Levu and Vanua Levu. About three-quarters of Fijians live on Viti Levu's coasts, either in the capital city of Suva or in smaller urban centers such as Nadi, where tourism is the major local industry, or Lautoka, where the sugarcane industry is paramount. Because of its terrain, the interior of Viti Levu is sparsely inhabited. The 10th of October 1973 USA Spiro Agnew, Vice President Spiro Agnew resigns in disgrace over charges of federal income tax evasion. The 10th of October 1971 USA London Bridge, after being removed from over the Thames in London and shipped all the way to Arizona and then reconstructed London Bridge reopened today in Lake Havasu City, Arizona. The 10th of October 1978 USA dollar coin, President Carter signed a bill authorizing the likeness of suffragette Susan B. Anthony on one side of the new dollar coin, and the Apollo moon landing on the other. The 10th of October 1980 Algeria earthquake. Two earthquakes have struck the northern Algerian town of El Asnam. Current reports estimate up to 20,000 had died and many tens of thousands have been injured or are missing. The 10th of October 1983 Lebanon ceasefire. In an effort to keep the ceasefire in Lebanon, Italian and Greek troops have been assigned and accepted to supervise the ceasefire on behalf of the United Nations, and if more are needed, Yugoslavia will provide additional observers. The 10th of October 1986 El Salvador earthquake. October 10, 1986, an earthquake measuring 7.5 on the Richter scale strikes San Salvador, the capital city of El Salvador, killing an estimated 1,500 people. The 10th of October 1991 USA Postal. Former U.S. postal worker Joseph Harris kills two former co-workers at the post office in Ridgewood, New Jersey. The night before, Harris had killed his former supervisor, Carol Ott, with a 3-foot samurai sword, and shot her fiancé, Cornelius Caston, in their home. His murders were one of many committed by postal workers which resulted in the phrase, "going postal." The 10th of October 1999 UK London Eye. Thousands assemble to watch a giant Ferris wheel, one of the UK's largest Millennium projects, move into position as a new landmark on the London skyline, the South Bank of London between Waterloo Station and Westminster Bridge. The Millennium Wheel is better known now as the London Eye. The London Eye stands 135 meters high and has become one of the most successful Millennium projects, attracting an average of 10,000 visitors a day, and is the biggest Ferris wheel in the world. The 10th of October 2002 Bush can unilaterally declare war on Iraq. The U.S. House of Representatives has voted to authorize President George W. Bush to unilaterally declare war against Iraq. This allows the U.S. to use force against Iraq in a manner necessary and appropriate to protect U.S. national security and enforce UN resolutions. The Senate is expected to endorse on Friday. Some members of the Democrats do have concerns due to a declassified letter from the CIA director, George Tenet, in which he appeared to cast doubt on the possible threat from Saddam Hussein. A multinational coalition composed of United States and United Kingdom troops, supported by smaller contingents from Australia, Denmark, Poland and other nations, invaded Iraq on March 20, 2003. The 10th of October 2008 Pakistan suicide car bomb attack. A suicide car bomb attack struck as some 600 people held an open-air meeting to raise a militia to evict Taliban in the Orakzai semi-autonomous tribal region. The 10th of October 2008 world markets continue to fall. 2008 stock markets around the world continue to fall on fears of a major recession following the collapse of the financial markets. The 10th of October 2009 Pakistan Taliban attacks military headquarters. October 10th Taliban militants attack military headquarters in Rawalpindi, near Islamabad in northern Pakistan, leaving at least 19 people dead. This is an ongoing increase in the last few weeks of militant activity. The 10th of October 2011 largest virus discovered in ocean water near Chile. Megavirus chilensis, the largest virus yet to be discovered, was found off the coast of Chile. The newly found virus is 10 to 20 times wider than an average virus and is thought to infect small organisms in the sea like amoebas. The 10th of October 2012 Germany tourist bus fire in China. October 10th, the German government has announced it would support a new law that would explicitly allow circumcision as long as it was done by qualified professionals. The new law was introduced after disputes between the government and religious groups over the practice came to light when a court had ruled the circumcision on newborns was assault. 10th of October 2010 The Netherlands Antilles are dissolved as a country. The Netherlands Antilles Dutch, Nederlands Antillen, pronounced listen, Papiamentu, Antia Hollandies was a constituent country of the Kingdom of the Netherlands. The country consisted of several island territories located in the Caribbean Sea. The islands were also informally known as the Dutch Antilles. The country came into being in 1954 as the autonomous successor of the Dutch colony of Curaçao and dependencies and was dissolved in 2010. The Dutch colony of Suriname, although it was relatively close by on the continent of South America, did not become part of the Netherlands Antilles but became a separate autonomous country in 1954. All the island territories that belonged to the Netherlands Antilles remain part of the kingdom today, although the legal status of each differs. As a group they are still commonly called the Dutch Caribbean, regardless of their legal status. The 10th of October 2013 Jonas Brothers cancel tour. The Jonas Brothers cancelled their upcoming US tour over creative differences within the band. The band was scheduled to play 19 shows across the country with Bonnie McKee as a supporting act. 10th of October 2015 twin bomb blasts in the Turkish capital Ankara kill 102 and injure 400. On the 10th of October 2015 at 10:04 local time (EEST) in Ankara, the capital city of Turkey, 2 bombs were detonated outside Ankara Central Railway Station. With a death toll of 109 civilians, the attack surpassed the 2013 Reyhanli bombings as the deadliest terror attack in modern Turkish history. Another 500 people were injured. Censorship monitoring group Turkey Blocks identified nationwide slowing of social media services in the aftermath of the blasts, described by rights group Human Rights Watch as an extrajudicial measure to restrict independent media coverage of the incident. The bombs appeared to target a Labour, Peace and Democracy rally organized by the Confederation of Progressive Trade Unions of Turkey (DISK), the Union of Chambers of Turkish Engineers and Architects (TMMOB), the People's Democratic Party (HDP), the Turkish Medical Association (TTB), and the Confederation of Public Workers Unions (KESK). The Peace March was held to protest against the growing conflict between the Turkish Armed Forces and the separatist Kurdistan Workers' Party (PKK). The incident occurred 21 days before the scheduled 1 November general election. Thanks a lot for watching the History House YouTube channel. Please like this video and subscribe the channel for latest stories on daily basis.